Okay, we are now recording. Welcome everyone to the December 15th MicroProfile Live Hangout / release meeting / working group. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining. There is a link to the meeting minutes in the chat. It is everyone's shared responsibility to take notes. If you're on the call, please click on the link and add your name to the list of contributors. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube, as will the chat. Okay, so just a heads up on that. Okay, so for today's agenda items, I was kind of hoping that Sharon would be able to make it because I think the ballot for committer representatives is supposed to start today or tomorrow, I think.
No, it's today, but it hasn't gone out yet. Everyone that is a committer should get the notification. And then we can forward it to the forum as soon as that lands, so everyone knows, but we don't have it yet. So I think we need to do a follow-up and the working group and say, to confirm, we're expecting it to come today? Is that still valid? Just follow like that. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I'll see if I can ping Sharon on it. So in fact, let me just do this.
I already own my follow-up on that thread, so someone else needs to jump.
Okay. All right. So I will shoot off a ping. The Red Hat Me is going to ping the Google Me. Okay. So let's leave it at that. We have two folks on the ballot. So Edwin and Bruno Baptista. Okay. The MicroProfile release. Emily, do you want to maybe take this one?
Yeah, so it's I shared the status on the mailing list, but give a quick update. So basically, up to now, we released 3 specs: config, metrics, and health. And then the 5 remaining specs are on ballot. So basically, this is all on staged. So all of these specs on the staged repo, Sona type. So basically, it's kind of the so we need strategic members to vote. So it's kind of so that we can close out all these remaining 5 specifications.
So the way it's looking right now, we are not going to make this year. It'll likely be the first week in January. The Eclipse Foundation meets the first and third Wednesdays of the month to basically approve these. So we kind of missed that cutoff. So it's looking like January is going to be the release. But we should have all the ballots. Well, not all the ballots complete. All the voting should be complete.
Yeah. Right? So I think we should all vote. At least the ballot is complete, so that when Eclipse Foundation back to work on the 4th of January, so they can just give a +1, so that we can push the specs to the artifacts to Maven Central.
All right, so Edwin and Emerson and Kevin, probably that first week we're back, we'll have to work on a release. So, well, it'll be after the Wednesday.
Roger that.
So the other thing is that, like, Martin has done some awesome work. Basically, is the release, the spec can be released with some dependencies still in the staging area. So at the moment, actually, if Edwin is still working this week, I think is the MicroProfile 4.0 could be worked on. Is release is a kind of can push that to stage the repo as well, so that in January, when we got the go ahead, we can release them all together.
So I did get pinged by an individual, I think it was yesterday, basically saying, hey, what's up with the MicroProfile 4 release? So, they went to our release page. It said November 10th, right? And they don't necessarily participate directly in the community, like the forums and the live hangouts. And so they couldn't tell what the status was. And so I think we just have to, I explained the situation, right? How normally it's all in the calendar and this stuff is done, but we don't necessarily have a program plan per se. And so, for future releases, we should think about having like a status page that keeps everybody that doesn't follow along as close as we do up to date with what's going on. So.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yeah. I want to update on something. We have a thread happening with the projects page in the MicroProfile website, and I know Summers has been looking at it and it's a mess. We need to drop it or adjust it really quickly. And I wonder if while we are off, clearly this is something we could check out on improvements to start cleaning what currently is and connecting it to Git. And I can't volunteer right now to try to own this work, but I want us to check that thread. I can add it here and, consider it as important as anything else. With MicroProfile Release 4.0, we will need the page to at least work. Either Ryan helps us at the beginning because already Emily created something that we can use in the templates until we make it all Git. So my brainstorming here is, what do we do and how do we move forward with that thread so that we can be better prepared when the year starts, January 4th, for most of us?
Right. So I was taking a look at the website for a hot minute there, and it's just using a bunch of old things. I was trying to bring all the dependencies up, and that was just leading to more problems. And then life happened, and I kind of forgot about it for a bit.
Yeah, maybe we need to replace all that stuff entirely. I don't know. Certainly.
I mean, I'm pretty. So we'd want to have. I know how to do most of that kind of off the top of my head. I had to do it for a work project a couple of times this year. So I can re-resurrect that thread and we can kind of figure out what we need and how it could work.
Sounds good.
Summers, sounds amazing. We will not be able to give you immediate access to be an admin in the website, but if you bring us on board on what to do, then you will have the access. Plus, you are a committee member, but no one can adjust the website without knowing that it will not break. So this is why we're super careful. FYI, as to why you still don't have the admin access.
Yeah.
Of course, that's fine.
Yeah, and sometimes I wonder if straight up GitHub Pages wouldn't be useful. Like basically every individual project could have a GitHub Pages that uses the same template as the website, and then we could put them, as like fault tolerance.microprofile.io, and people would just go straight there. You know what I mean? And there could be. Oh, sorry about that. You want to?
No. I think this is all good. I just want to make sure we get to the next full bullets, and then I think we're going to have time left over, and then we can brainstorm on some of this.
Okay.
But there are a couple of things I'd like to get to this meeting.
This is good. Go ahead.
Say something about releases, just very quick. I think from my observation from the Eclipse Foundation response, mainly YAML response from Win. So that's pretty that's pretty speedy actually. So at the moment for the released specs, we normally approve immediately after we got our working group. Basically, we got a MicroProfile ballot finished, and then he just directly.
Item. So we have to meet quarterly. for the MicroProfile Steering Committee meetings. And so what I did is I threw out some dates, and just to make it within the 3 months, literally, there's those 3 dates you could see there, the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. So what I did is, I'm assuming the 5th is going to be probably not a good idea. And so the 12th and the 19th. Oops. Let's see.
Can we do a doodle poll? Like, I can volunteer to do a doodle poll and say 12th or 19th and move forward. And Dan, John, if you want the extra help, because we cannot decide here in case we're missing. Do we have every partner today in the call? At least one representative. And if we do, we can choose the date. Otherwise, I can volunteer to add the doodle poll for the 9th, the 12th, or the 19th.
How about we do something simple like the 2nd Tuesday of the quarter?
Yeah.
We could do that.
That's fantastic.
Some sort of theme, like it could be the 3rd Thursday of the quarter. It doesn't matter, but just we pick a, excuse me, not Thursday, Tuesday. We pick a Tuesday that's the specific, just say second Tuesday of the quarter or 3rd Tuesday of the quarter, something like that.
I am for 2nd Tuesday. Sounds amazing.
I like the idea. Hawaiian shirt theme.
Yeah, Summers. What do you think, Ruslan? What do you think? Emerson, Ed, everyone here.
I'll plus one in document.
Do you want it to override normal community hangout? Shouldn't it be like off weeks?
Sorry, but I couldn't hear you. What is it?
Do you want to override normal community hangout like we have right now? Because if you set it in stone, it can collide.
No,
it should be scheduled for off weeks.
It would mean that one of our Tuesday calls just turns into our steering committee call, so that way no one has to really make different time available and people can be familiar with it.
But this time for 2021, I recommend that we make that a steering committee call, not to be, just make it like in the event. We make a new event for 2021 that matches just for this. It's not to be confused with the community, though it's the community call as well. But this will be, there is a level of separation because we need formalized minutes. We need to send the minutes. And there is a process we need to follow. Right?
Okay, overheard. So it's going to be Thursday or Tuesday? Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yes. 2nd Tuesday of the beginning of the quarter.
So that means it'd be the 12th.
It could be the 3rd Thursday. Just pulled that out of thin air. 3rd Tuesday. It could, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever day we want, we just pick it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter to me.
Guys, what about time? Just out of curiosity, how many people are from Europe actually here on the call? Yeah, because for example, I'm in Spain, it's like 8 now, but I'm often in Cyprus or in Ukraine, and it's 9. So it's quite hard to join every week.
Well, no, this wouldn't be for the community hangout. It would just be for the 4 times a year that we have a working group meeting.
Okay, 4 times of a year, it's not a problem, definitely.
All right, unless there's an objection, I guess the 2nd Tuesday of the quarter seems to be fine with everyone. Okay, so I'll set it up. Note there's the agenda draft. Please recall we don't want. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. Oops, Tanya's joining. Just remember to not go in and directly edit agenda items here. What I can do is create a Google group thread on what needs to be discussed. So I'll do that. And really, we're just going to go through and say this is what was done since, we had these AIs, they're completed, whatever, and then new topics. So we should be okay.
John, before you go, can you add as a permanent item budget in this in the agenda? Permanent budget. we need that as a permanent. We have a few things here that are permanent in the agenda. So can you add it as, you know, the top priorities as well? Thank you so much. I don't want to change the format. Prefer like you own it really nicely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay, so that implies that we're going to have a discussion on budget at some point here before, you know, a proposal before that call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we get Emily back?
Nope, but it's on the way.
Okay.
Personal email for the moment.
What?
I was saying like maybe personal email will work.
No, it doesn't. I had to go into the settings for the actual meeting and allow people to get re-added after being removed.
Ah, okay.
Wow, we're deep.
Whoa, thank you, Kevin. You were gone, we chose a second Tuesday of every quarter as the 4 calls for Jakarta. And who will create that event?
MicroProfile.
Yeah, MicroProfile, yes, sorry.
Okay, so should we trust Emily's iPhone?
I do.
Emily, you're back, we miss you.
Yeah, I was banned from joining from my laptop. I think John just removed.
No, Emily, you get to blame me. So you can yell at me after the meeting.
Well, yeah.
I think I joined by my phone. Okay.
This is going to keep on happening.
Collateral
by the way.
damage.
If it continues to happen, we just add registration. Like we do that for a few calls that are community and the JCP and other things. And though it takes 45 seconds to do so, you need to add your email and name. That's actually not a bad idea because it still gives the access and you get an invite directly to your calendar. We can have it in the calendar as well, but it's just nice. But we shouldn't change anything at the moment. 2 is not enough. This is the first time. 2 is not enough for us to change stuff.
Right.
All right. So I am going to add, or sorry, not add, but move on to the next topic. David, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So
for Jay.
Yeah. So as part of the whole formation of the MicroProfile working group, there was a lot of discussion on how we could get, and pardon me, I'm wearing a mask because I got someone here doing work, so I sound a little bit muddled, and there's going to be background sound. So, started a concept of potentially forming an alliance between MicroProfile and Jakarta EE, with scope to be determined. At minimum, it would be some sort of like branding alliance. That these 2 projects like to collaborate. They're aligned in some way. And so on the Jakarta EE side of the fence, we passed a resolution saying, all right, let's create a mailing list where we can talk about the concept openly as a community. And we passed that resolution. So if we want to do the same thing on the MicroProfile side of the fence, saying we're open to discussing some form of an alliance and join the mailing list as well, that's what the resolution would be. So in terms of, as I mentioned, what the actual scope of the alliance is, that would be discussed on the list. So that's open. So that's the high level.
I have a question about that. Like MicroProfile doesn't cater to clients and the level of users. So we need to be extremely careful. I agree that we have a lot of commonality with Jakarta EE. However, anything that will be technical is just a problematic core, because what is it about Jakarta that is more important than other technologies? If we're willing to change the votes push versus pull to adjust it for one user, why we're not doing it for others? And what is the credibility that we are listening to our community, our users, our contributors, and we are neutral on how they choose to use MicroProfile. So while I do agree that it's important for us to say we use the technology, the Jakarta technology, they use us, anything that will deter from the independence of this community has a serious flag that I just want this in recording. We have talked about it. We worked on the charter really hard to make sure that MicroProfile is an independent project. So if anything will come to adjust what currently is, will be publicly negative for both projects.
Well, that's, yeah. I mean, that's for the discussion to be had, right?
Exactly. So, you know, I can tell you just from my personal perspective, I wouldn't really be okay with some form of alliance that was that turned out to be, in effect, the super uber true controller of both communities. I would not want anything like that. But some way to just simply have joint discussions, I think is fine. And how formal it becomes is up to us. And you know what I mean? I would be looking for low overhead, low formality, just enough to enable discussions and collaboration.
And transparency. Jakarta lacks that.
And transparency. So
yeah, Jakarta lacks its community. Is the biggest complaint that I have with Jakarta AE is that after the May 2019 trademarks conversations that were completed, the three committees continue to have private conversations. When legal is no longer involved, what is so scary that you cannot have public conversations?
That would be a great thing to bring up in the Jakarta EE working group, but for the moment we don't have any control over that working group from this perspective, just as they don't have control over this working group from the same perspective.
I don't think we should discuss any Jakarta internal issues over here because it's not in our scope.
Yes.
Right.
Roberto, well said. Thank you. And I'm sorry about that.
So this would facilitate having a discussion between the two groups in the public.
Yeah, we need to have an open dialogue on both market alignment, how they see the two projects and how they're aligned, as well as any kind of technical alignment that we need to discuss, right? And there's no plans for any kind of, as David mentioned, any kind of overarching governance or anything like that. This really is two projects that have a lot of shared customers and, you know, obviously, you know, to some degree, bi-directional relationships in terms of the products that we deliver, that where this is exactly a place to have an open discussion around the alignment of the two projects.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Are we having like joint meetings like once a month or something like that?
To be determined.
Hasn't been decided.
Exactly. Nothing has been, like literally nothing's been decided. The intent is to start a list where we can have a discussion with everything completely on the open. I'll tell you, if we don't start a list, then the conversation will just simply continue, but in private.
And what kind of nonsense is that for open source?
A lot of nonsense, which is why we're trying to create this list early, before anything's been decided at all.
And that was really hard for me not to swear in this call. I use nonsense.
I will edit it out along with Ben.
No need. I use nonsense. I look forward to that email thread, that public mailing list on the Jakarta side, where we can discuss things and see if there isn't anything we can do together, like we have done before. We have booths, we have sessions, that kind of thing sounds amazing to me. How we enable others to come in and contribute, to use the project, to become committers, to join the two working groups. That kind of thing is amazing and has so much value. Everything else, alignment technically, you know, let's tack it there.
So I guess this isn't a steering committee meeting,
right.
So we don't have like a formal vote here, but I guess
we can kick it out after. You know, if people here are okay with the concept, then we can start the vote on the thread.
Yeah. I mean, well, technically, you're supposed to have a week ahead of time agenda item for a steering committee meeting, but I don't know.
We don't have to have meetings around every vote.
Well, Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. So we could kick it off on the working group alias.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, I mean, at least from a Red Hat perspective, it's a +1. Tommy Tribe is a +1. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts.
And we're sort of as individuals talking as individuals at the moment. So, you know, and Emily, you kind of got it cut off. So did you want to finish your sentence?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
Oops, hope I didn't cut her off. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's good.
Okay.
Thoughts, Roberto? Thoughts, Rudy, Emerson, Edwin, Ed? Any thoughts?
I mean, I'm okay with having the mailing list and then take it from there and see where that takes us.
Yeah, +1.
Same.
Yeah, I think this discussion between the two groups is not going to hurt anyone.
Exactly.
So is one more thing for the mailing list. Are we going to do a Google Mail mailing list, or I mean, what kind of format? It's not like a MicroProfile Dash working group mailing list, right? The Google group.
Yeah, I think the list name could have been in the resolution, proposed resolution, but it was like cn4j-alliance@eclipse.org.
But it is not yet created, you say?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, okay.
So is not a Google group discussion. It's like like other kind, like a MicroProfile Dash working group. Okay.
Yeah. Ruslan, what do you think? Summers, Emerson.
+1 on the concept of the mailing list. I'm just wondering who's going to do what work in the actual creating of the mailing lists, and if there's anything else like, you know, just websites or some sort of technical debt would be assuming for that.
No, I will answer this because we do not know that yet. But the thing is that if this is going to take resources that are, we need a person to do this and that would be a flat no, because it's overhead.
It's not.
The point is, if every website, the Jakarta project and the MicroProfile project cannot add something that triggers to bring into the wiki, that is located, likely will be located in the Eclipse Foundation website, then we have a problem. Why complicate?
Hold on. The short answer is Eclipse would create the mailing list. In terms of website, we have no idea. We could discuss it on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is just about letting Eclipse create the mailing list for us and nothing bigger.
Right, exactly. So we could take the the smallest step forward without actually deciding anything difficult or hard.
Oh, yeah, then +1. All right, yeah.
So we could do the conversation on the list about what to do from there.
Yeah, +1.
Ruslan, questions?
I don't see why I should have any objections. Like it's a simple +1.
All right, so who wants to kick off the vote email? Amelia's on mute.
Oh, no, I'm going to volunteer Summers. Summers, you sent something super cool to the working group about being John co-pilot on this. Do you mind sending the motion?
Yeah. And this, the email for the ballot for co-creating the mailing list to facilitate yada yada. Yes.
Yeah, the resolution's right there on the page. John, you cut out the mailing list name. Can you put that back in?
Mm-hmm. And Summers, if we can formally say that you are the co-pilot on the steering committee for the minutes and stuff like that, since you already sent the email.
We're not going that far. We're only creating the list.
I know, but I'm talking about.
That's all we're doing right now. We're not deciding more structure because that makes it more complicated. If there's actual commitments going to be involved, that really is too premature, in my opinion.
It was nothing about the alliance.
Yeah, so this will be an open mailing list, so anybody can join and discuss.
Right. And ideally, everybody joins from both communities.
Yeah, and archived.
Can you add the word public mailing list?
Oh.
So this
Okay.
will be exactly the same as a MicroProfile WG, right? So basically, you have to subscribe it.
Emily, your voice is coming across pretty soft on the iPhone. I'm not sure it'll
okay.
even get caught in the recording.
Okay, so I just trying to ask for this one. So basically, you will have to subscribe and then join, right?
Yes, you'll have to subscribe to the mailing list.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
I will state that the new mailing lists are very hard to gain subscribers. So we don't have even 50 on the working group for MicroProfile. So we need to do a really good job, like using the Twitter channels of MicroProfile to bring attention to this mailing list and how, how to get anyone to subscribe and participate. So we need to, those ones that are in the steering committee, please send a message to that group that it is important that the Jakarta EE media also uses its mediums to provide visibility and push so that many others subscribe. Otherwise, the conversation will not have as much diversity and health.
Yeah, well, I mean, the scope's a little bit different, right? Like the MicroProfile Working Group 1 really is intended just for official, ballots, official discussions, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. Where, yeah, this one is intended for discussion, open discussion. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's totally different. But I'm saying let's push it a little bit harder.
So sorry, did I hear Summers is going to send an email then? Summers, you want to add an AI to the Google Doc? It's to cement it.
Yes. I closed the Google Doc because I'm a bad person. Yes. And this is to the MicroProfile Working Group mailing list, right?
That's correct.
All right.
And you can, if you can see, I will forward it to the forum. We said to the Eclipse Foundation that we will not add in these motions for votes the working group, the community, so that we don't drop the actual votes mailing list. So I will follow the forum to say this is what is happening. Move on, that kind of thing.
So what do I post on what forum?
You post the resolution and the working group, and then I will.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to. Okay, I missed the. You were going to forward it to the forum.
It's not forward. I just add the link of the conversation for awareness of everyone in the community. We cannot forward because then we might have members voting on the community. We want to avoid that at all costs.
All right, add to the bookmark if you want to provide a link directly to that bullet.
I would say let's go to the website. Do we have anything else, John?
Yeah, if we can, Summers, if you could do that like shortly after the meeting, that would be awesome.
Yes. I'll take the ballot for one of the open ballots, rip out the resolution and all of the other stuff, and send it on along.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep,
So the other thing is the ballot, like for these 5 specifications. So
Ajax and Elastic and yeah, and the rest you need to do the voting basically.
Yeah, I just checked with Vincent about that today, and we'll get our votes in. Yeah.
Yeah, if we can get a vote done like before Christmas, and then in the new year we can just push things out.
We lost your high quality audio there, Emily. I think it went back to your Bluetooth or something.
So basically what I'm trying to say is that let's try to get the ballot completed before Christmas, so that like in the new year we can just push a button and then get things done.
Sounds good. Okay, so to Amelia's prior point, we didn't really finish the discussion on the MicroProfile 4 release. I do have a quick question, or actually a quick comment. For anyone that hasn't voted on the outstanding ballots or the in-progress ballots, please get your vote in. Awesome, thanks. Okay, Emily, or sorry, Amelia, you were, or David, I can't remember who I cut off earlier on this topic.
David and Summers. David and Summers are, we need to resurrect the website thread. And that means Summers will update us on what he found. Summers, going here, please. You have worked on it.
So what I was saying was I started working on it, and the first thing I wanted to do was get all of the dependencies and libraries and yada, yada, yada up to date. And that was just turning into one of those things where it's another thing, another thing, another thing. And then life kind of intervened and work kicked up and I dropped it entirely. So going all the way back around, you had mentioned earlier talking about using GitHub Pages instead of the AWS Cloudflare that we do now. And I believe David and I said our wish list would be something along the lines of using a static site generator where somebody can just send a PR for, hey, here's my contributor information, and it automatically gets merged and pushed and all of that, and nobody has to actually know anything. And I think that was like the golden scenario, wave a magic wand result. And we're trying to land somewhere between patch it and work it.
So what is the action task that the minimum that we could help with, or how do we move like forward?
So right now there are just a couple of, most of the site is fine unless something goes wrong while it's loading its the JSON data that it looks at, and I believe it pulls that out of GitHub. And if we want to be tactical about this, I can just drop getting the dependencies, and we can just patch that to be something static so it doesn't have to make that HTTP call, and it'll always be the same. And that could be like the first small thing.
Could we do it so that it grabs the data and then just keeps it?
Yeah, that would be the idea, is we just have what we have now, except instead of that being an HTTP call, it just loads something that's hard. I don't want to say it's hard coded, but what it loads is data that's not served from anywhere. It's just on the page. It's in the HTML or the JavaScript or whatever that's served from Cloudflare, so that if the page comes up, the data comes up.
Right. I mean, could we do something as simple as like still do the HTTP request, but just store the data on disk and then serve it from there? And then like basically the only time we can, and then there's like a background process that continues to try to get new data just in case we get new committers and new contributors and new pull requests and new stuff like that. But, if it doesn't succeed, it wouldn't overwrite the file, so it would be fine.
Well, the idea is that when we get a new committer or whatever, we could still build the automated updates without redoing the website. And all they'll actually package is just that file in with the HTTP, in with the build distribution that's hosted on Cloudflare. So instead of having to go to a GitHub API or a hosted API, it can just pull a static file.
Yeah, just we did something then to update that static file completely automated without a human.
Right. Yes, and that's what we actually want to do is have the make that automation, then make the file static. Because I understand it's a manual process right now, and you have to have admin and yada yada.
To update the website in terms of files?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it like you have to rebuild the thing and redeploy the service if you make any changes to code.
Yeah, and yeah. Oh, right. This is also a jar thing, so that makes it a little bit more complicated than just being a static JavaScript site.
We could probably do it again as JavaScript. It would just be more effort. I think it's worth it if we have people. Like we have a guy on our team, Andre, who's really great at JavaScript stuff, and we could probably team you up with him, and the two of you could probably hammer out a new site that's in.
I mean,
using more modern tools.
Yeah, a new site would be a new site
project
would also,
pages, I should say.
A new project page, yeah.
Oh yeah, we could just using WordPress for the main for the front page and the all that kind of stuff, which is good. But just those project pages, they're kind of shoddy.
Yeah. I suppose, I didn't even think about doing it that way. I always thought that everything would get folded into one project.
We could continue to do a hybrid where it's WordPress for stuff that's sort of like marketing, stuff. But when we do the individual projects, if we had something that could be static, such that even if it was JavaScript or not, it doesn't matter. But if it could be generated via like a GitHub Pages process, that's probably the least amount of.
Oh yeah, and we could just put in a redirect that would, or a proxy or something somewhere. Yeah.
We already have our proxy in front, so we could totally do as many redirects.
Oh, and
Cloudflare, so we can use DNS. We could do like DNSs for each of the spec projects and.
We could try it out. In the past, I create a GitHub pages for config. I think we can experiment it and with one spec and to see how it goes, and then we can take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great if it still had all the same sort of like these are the people who are contributing to it, all that stuff. But if it could somehow be done as part of like a GitHub Pages publishing process. That would be super ideal. And then we could have like config.microprofile.io where people go to and, and then the config team is sort of like lined up to be able to expand their site however they like. We would just say you got to use the standard template so people feel like it's kind of like one site as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So seamless kind of view. Among all these different specs. I think it's good. In the new year, we should experiment it.
Yeah. I will take a note then to just.
In the existing site, if we could somehow fix the caching problem, that would go a long way. It would buy us some extra time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just taking a quick look at the project page, and it makes it makes 253 individual HTTP requests to come up.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, like, it's okay for us to make those requests, but like, that data should be kept.
Yeah,
if we just wrote it to a temp file on disk, that would be better than whatever caching it has in its code right now.
Yeah, I think just a static site would be the easiest.
I'm not referring to, because like making it a whole static site would be a lot of work, right? Right now it's already running and it grabs the 250 requests. It doesn't keep the result, and so if we could just get it to keep the result so it doesn't make those requests again, that would be a good temporary solution. So it would be everything the same. It just fix the thing that throws the data away. So it doesn't throw the data away.
So it's right now got a max cache age and must revalidate.
Eliminate max cache age completely, and
yeah, that okay.
So let me interject here because I think it's so awesome that we are restarting this conversation. Summers, if you go into the thread and tell us the updates, kind of like then when you do that, I can already via the thread say you have admin access to start, we can have something that doesn't push for changes immediately, but we can start working. We have a driver that can help, hopefully other members and committers or contributors can help also. Not everyone can gain admin access, but I think you should. Is that okay with you?
That is great with me. I will also see if I can drop in a GitHub PR to remove that in the email to say, hey, here's what to fix to do the thing.
Yeah.
To make the cache.
Yeah, I'll try to hook you up with the access so that you can make the change.
All right.
There's an AWS account, and there's a MicroProfile-infrastructure Google group. And so I'll add you to the MicroProfile-infrastructure Google group, and then make sure we can any kind of credentials issues, you can talk over that. That one is not public list, just because obviously we need to be able to exchange login information.
I was about to say, I feel bad that I'm taking notes and not putting them in the document, but these are honeydew items for me, and it's starting to sound like things that that are infrastructure related and not like discussion.
Yeah, but Summers, we have inventory of everyone who has access to the infra, and it's publicly available. So once you gain that access, you will be added into that list. That list is found in the MicroProfile marketing folder. Like we have, the only drive the MicroProfile has, aside from the external, is the marketing, where we keep admins who has access to the forums that we have two, and who can delete the page. So the responsibility has always been public. You will be added, and everyone will know who you are because you are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FYI, that MicroProfile-infra list is not for the discussion of how we do things technically. It's really just to control who has access to the AWS account and the WordPress account and so on.
Okay. All right. I see. I see the difference now.
Yeah. All the discussion stays public. It's just when we have, when we're actually dishing out credentials, that happens over that list.
Okay. It's awesome. Thank you. I have a kind of a side question. I know we are nearly around our time. So there's still remaining task to create a MicroProfile 4.0 release. When are we going to create? When are we going to stage that? I know it's down to Edwin and Samas. Am I right?
Yeah, it's probably me, Edwin, and Emerson.
Emerson. So Edwin, so when are you going to stage that?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask you. I don't know what to do. Can you please help me through the process?
Yeah. Martin kind of said he's willing to assist you. Martin, are you still there?
Edwin just ping me on Slack, on MicroProfile Slack, and we can work on it.
Yeah, and add myself and Emerson to that too, please.
Yeah, Edwin.
The Slack chat.
So
and Kevin, if Kevin wants to be in it.
Only thing that I need from you is basically final MicroProfile 4.0 doc with every spec updated to the final version. And then we can add individual staging repositories during the final build and stage MicroProfile 4.0.
So I need to create a new PR with the latest versions in the MicroProfile platform spec. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But not the latest final versions.
I will
Not
try.
latest released, final.
There is a thread happening on this, correct? Like we have it going. I think, Emily, did you start that thread, or Martin? I don't remember. But when I hear Slack, I think it's wonderful for quick, but for...
So, Amelia, I started Google Group thread said remaining tasks need to be done. So that's action. So it's at the moment, Edwin and Martin saying they want to have a discussion. It could be on the mailing list or could be on Slack. So for something short and quick, I think it doesn't hurt to be on Slack. But if you need the public to know, the Google group to know, I think it's better to publish on the Google group.
This is only technical stuff, only how to perform build.
So Kevin had to say that he's going. Can we start like our happy holidays, everyone? I do not know. Definitely, I do not know if Kevin is still here.
Let's try. Thank you so much to everybody who helped start the MicroProfile working group this year. That was one of the biggest accomplishments ever. And we truly appreciate each and every single one of you and all the community who participated in the discussion and everybody who just helped make sure that this is still a community-led initiative. Thank you.
And if I just may add, this is Tanya. If someone wanted to do Jakarta Tech Talk on MicroProfile 4.0, do let me know. I think that's something that the world should definitely hear about.
Tanya, send a message to the forum and say, hey, we are taking this, send the link, subscribe. Like, definitely use the forum for this kind of thing. You're welcome to do so.
Sure, but I'm saying it here as well, so it could be documented in the meeting minutes. So
there we go.
Add it to the minutes. Add it to the minutes.
That was a hint to John to add it to the.
No, it is everyone's shared responsibility to take notes.
There you go.
So
recorded.
So Tanya, Tanya, please add it to the meeting minutes.
Sure, will do.
From my side,
go back to Tanya.
From my side, thank you to everyone for being amazing, for choosing transparency and communication, for showing up in the actions, being less weight for others that are in thinking everyone beside yourselves. Yep. That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're.
I want to thank you, the most active and actually every active contributor, for the positive energy and the positive vibe, because this community is very positive and I like how it moves forward now. I really enjoy this process.
Awesome.
Yep.
So that's a quote. That right there, that's a quote to go on our homepage, right? Right, Amelia? So we're going to have to capture that and put that on the homepage. Sorry, Amelia?
Ruslan needs to submit his quote that is personal. So Ruslan, submit that quote.
Amelia? Sorry, I meant to say Emily. Sorry, I'm just trying to move things along. We're past the top of the hour. Emily?
Yeah, I just say thank you for supporting us, supporting this working group. It's a great group.
For me personally, I just want to say it's been an absolute joy. Having participated in these community hangouts for this past year, I wish I would have done it sooner. And, we look forward to doing more next year. So hope everybody has a great holiday, end the year healthy and safe. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks everyone. Sorry, I was waiting to make sure there was a pause there before I can kind of close down the call. So I would also like to thank everyone for making 2020 more pleasant than it otherwise. It's been kind of a disaster as a year, but this has been awesome. We've made a ton of progress, working groups in place. We're learning as we go with new processes and stuff. But it's been awesome. Again, thank you everyone. So this is a final reminder that there is no call for the remainder of the year, and I will see everyone at the same bat time, same bat channel next year.
See you in 2021.
All right, guys.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Take care.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
next year.
Happy
Bye.
holidays. Take care.
Yes.
All right.